All right, welcome to the good stuff. It's the good stuff again this week. The big episode, number 54.
Not the big stuff. You got to go
The
elsewhere
big stuff.
for that.
Yeah. So is 54? Is that the number of cards you get in a deck, a playing card deck? It's
Yes.
an important milestone to get to. It's,
Let's say yes.
there's 1 year and then there's that. Is it 54 card pickup? No, it doesn't sound right. 58.
52.
52. 58. I mean, what, you got 13 per suit plus a couple of jokers.
Let's do the math real quick.
Don't do the
No, let's not.
math. All right.
But it's a big episode.
I think maybe it's 52.
Nonetheless.
Yes, it is. Right.
Yeah.
I think it is 54, right?
It might be. It sounds right.
Yeah, because if you got 13, so
And
26,
there's the two jokers.
52, two jokers, 54. Look at that for maths.
Yeah. Done.
All right. Done. Okay. But we're here to talk about AI and in business. Small business is like where we like, right? We like the small ones. We just
Yeah.
chatting about Chamath. Maybe it'll come up again later. Like so where I thought maybe we'd start today, and we could build from, was just like observing these models in action.
Yeah.
So there's a certain amount of observability and testing and iteration that goes into working with these things, and I very much had that moment the other day where I was thinking like, God, this feels just so human. I think I was just saying to you at the back of the van a minute ago, like I've been working a lot with the flows and stuff inside Flight Deck to understand, like, okay, how do we have these regular tasks and how do we make sure they stick on task and they do what I'm expecting them to do. And it's always like really interesting. I feel like I'll like ping you and signal, like, oh wow, look at this, like it's doing it. And then usually like 5 minutes later I've gone in, like, because I'll then go into Wingman and I'll go back through like the session transcripts and trying to understand, like, okay, how did you get there? Like, what have you done? And I'll be like, like, you set yourself this task. This task got like none of the data in it that it should do. Like, that could have gone wrong. And like, but if I'd have seen it only inside like the flight deck level,
Yeah.
I wouldn't know. Like, it looks like it's kind of done everything right because it got there somehow. But the plumbing internally was incorrect on, like, say, this particular run that I did the other day.
So what was it? Just like what? Contextualize it.
It was, so the particular flow I was using was one where I could like have a chat backwards and forwards. So we have various different functions inside Flight Deck, and one of them is a chat, and I can just chat to an agent. And every time I send a chat message, it'll either pick up a new session if it's a new thread or there's not anything active, and it'll answer me in an agent session. Then it'll hold that open for an hour. And then if I send another one, it'll just drop it into that session and it carries on the conversation. So it's like a thread management type thing going on. And the idea is I want to be able to just chat to this thing where it can do a bunch of research and have several turns, but I only ever see like the higher level view of what's going on. And the purpose of that is it's just quite nice to talk through ideas before you want anything done on them. And so we were chatting about like this new feature, and I said, okay, well, I've made this design flow over here, and this design flow will just force it to step through, like, I'm going to produce a design, and then I go away, and then another agent comes along and reviews the design and critiques it, and then it comes back and does another version, and then somebody else comes and critiques it, and then it comes back and does another version, and somebody else comes and critiques it, and then it presents me the design. And the purpose of it is, it's just like, when I do that manually, I get a better result, but I find it annoying to keep opening and closing sessions and like moving stuff around, and so I'm just less likely to do it. So I was like, all right, well, here's a flow that's just going to force you through that design process, and you can do the same with the building and stuff. And then it takes this thread, this chat thread that we've been discussing, and it says, okay, we're going to go build that design. So that gets pulled into the app, creates this sort of summary task of like, this is what we're trying to achieve, these are all the goals, all the execution contract in that, a lot of like detail of what we're trying to achieve and why, because we've covered it all in the chat and like rounded out the corners and done all the discussion. And then it dispatched the design and review tasks. And the design and review tasks were just like, do the design on insert document. Like, do the thing on insert document. And I was like, now the interesting thing is the AI read that and just sort of went, I wonder what documenting means.
Yeah.
all right, I'm linked to this task. Let's go and have a look at that. And they just figured it out. That's what they were supposed to do. But I was like, well, that is like certainly more than anything else. I'm just burning a lot of credits here where you don't need to.
Yeah.
But also, like that could just be perfect. And I can quickly change it. So then, like, I worked with like another session I had open that was observing this session alongside me, and I was like, look, let's go look at these sessions. Like, what do you think went wrong here? And then we talked backwards and forwards. That was like now inside Wingman. So this is a lower level chat directly with the agents, and we walked through like what we were seeing, and then like why it had made these decisions, and like what the problems were, and how it translated from this task to this task, and how we could enforce like a contract when you're creating the tasks and stuff. So all that's in there now, and it works a lot smoother. But it was just one of those areas where I was like, you could really like not see this. And this has always been like my gut feel for a lot of the OpenClaw stuff, was that people would create like complex workflows and things on here that appear to work, but you would never know that they worked. And so it's hard to rely on it. And then what you find is there's like this curve of excitement and then drop off. It's kind of like the mid curve, right? Where you go like, oh, this is probably not any good, this is all rubbish, and then you quickly go, oh my god, this is fucking amazing, I'm gonna do everything with this. And then like about 4 weeks in, the thing is somehow overwhelmed or whatever, and it's doing that. And I suspect that's the symptom of several problems, because again, these are things that we've kind of been dealing with inside Wingman, where I've seen the same sort of thing. I'm like, fuck me, this is amazing, everyone's using it. I'm like, this gets confused. And then in dealing with that, and I think it's you overload the context, so you start up the agent the same way every time. You've got the same sort of, it's got too many instructions on its mind at once, so it gets confused. But also, I think, I think they create stuff to immediately solve the problem. And this is probably like way worse in Claude as well, I can imagine, because as we've talked about for many months now, Claude Code is the dog with two dicks that just can't be held back. That'd be a good episode title.
There you go.
Maybe not. That's one for big stuff.
Again, wrong channel.
No, you're gonna have a callback for the fans.
Yeah.
So I think that's the big thing, is that people will do something, get an output, the output works, and then you assume that it's done it a particular way. And I think the comment I made to you is like, no, these things are like humans, in that if you give them a vague goal, they will give you an answer that meets that goal surprisingly well. And that is like magic, because you're like, oh fuck me, this is like, I don't even have to think about this, and I can just get this stuff done, and I can like think of all the things that I could do. But then when you poke it just a little bit deeper and you observe it, you go, oh, you didn't do what I thought you did there. Oh, that's quite a clever workaround. And again, it's kind of magic that happens. But then you go, oh, that's not sustainable. Like, I can't keep running it like that. Oh, I need to fix that. Oh, I need to turn that into something else. All right, we need to sit down and really work on this together. And then you start to realize, if you do it in that sort of high level chat, like when you would dictate, oh, this needs to be perfect and you should do it like this all the time, and I need you to update your instructions, it's like it's still really not enough direction to rein the thing in. It's like if you had like a meeting with somebody that wasn't working correctly, and you just kept saying to them, you really need to be perfect and better at this, and it won't change a thing. But if you like put the effort in and you sit down and you go like, all right, here's like the process, and it's 5 things that you need to do, and here's the 10 to 20 point checklists for each step in the process that you can if you tick these off as you go, everything will go smoothly. And then all of a sudden things start to work. So I think there really is something there which, like, I don't know, it made me happy that I've never lost that observability layer. Like, because I think, I don't know if we probably talked about this on the pod, but I know we talked about it just in general around the design of these things, is trying to figure out what level to work at. and I think it's all of them.
Or having multiple levels
Yeah, exactly.
available
Like,
to you.
it's
Yep.
like because I know I was like I love it. Like I was just walking across the beach earlier, like just chatting to. I was doing a design for a new feature, like, and I was like, I like this. Like if in the chat, I don't have to like keep the window open. Like I've been able to do it for like the best part of a year now in Wingman, like the previous version. But there's something about like the chat style interface backwards and forwards where you don't get all the cruft.
Yeah.
You just get the summary that's like better, even if it takes like 30 seconds to a minute between answers.
Yeah.
That's fine. Like I don't need it quicker than that. And then,
It's not dissimilar to working with humans, though. You have those degrees of resolution open to you. Sometimes you need to go and sit one-on-one with the human to work out, where are the blockers? How are you working through a particular problem? How can I help you? What context do you need that would help? Like we do that, and then a lot of the times you step away and you manage a team, and the individual components might be unknown to you to some degree in terms of what they're doing every minute of the day, but you can generally see the progression.
Yeah.
And then you can keep zooming out again, to the company level.
And
you have different
good managers do.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. I think those skills are really relevant. They continue to be really relevant. There's a bunch there. Like I think
I can call this one the rise of the middle manager.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because you've still got like some of these VC guys saying that like the kind of PM role's dead, and like I just saw
PM
like
is the skill.
Keith Raboy came out just recently, said it again, and I'm like, I just don't agree with this at all. I feel like this is like the defensible skill.
Yeah.
Going into this year, next year, and the year after, probably. Like I think these are like working with humans is a great proxy for working with agents. If you just treat the agents like you would other humans, you tend to get really good outputs from them. But I mean, it's the point about the agent review as well, like getting the agents in these loops to review their own work, basically come up with first drafts, and then go, yeah, that particular part wasn't very good.
Yeah.
That part could be better. And then they come out with a second draft. What I've noticed though sometimes is if you get the same agent doing it, and this is like to your point about like, does this need to be like me sat manually in between the process? When I leave it to the agent, sometimes that first level draft, like it almost seems like it's a little poor by design.
Yeah.
It's like the unit test they write to pass sometimes. It's like, I'm just going to write this test because I know I can pass the test. And so they kind of will give you something knowing that, well, I'm going to do a second run and I'll come up with something a little bit better. If I make it too good, maybe it's going to be a bit too difficult for me to improve upon it later. Again, it's not dissimilar to what
for a bit of
humans-
clarity in my own head here, do you mean using like Codex to review its own design, let's say in its own session?
Yes.
Or do you mean like using another Codex that's brand new to review the session?
I mean using the same one.
Okay.
I think if you use a different one, then you'll get better out.
Yes. Yeah, because that's my experience, is I can still get as good output with multiple codexes.
Yeah.
Although I can also just start a Claude or a Gemini or whatever.
Yeah.
And do the same review, or throw it into a different harness. It's still like the same model, but now it's running in Pi or something like that, and you get...
Yeah.
Because they all add stuff in there. I mean, that's the nice thing about Pi, is that you strip away then a lot of the actual harness details that get added by like a codex. But
sometimes I'll say, like in the actual spec, I'll say this is going to be reviewed by like the opposite model, the other frontier model. And it's interesting because you just like, I wonder if
a
there's
bit
some,
of competition.
Yeah, just add the competitiveness to it.
And he says that you're a dork.
Yeah.
Like, I was going to say.
He doesn't think highly of your
I
opinions.
was going to say something more derogatory, but I probably shouldn't.
But like, I think that's been an interesting thing to just see unfold. I do think sometimes if you let people self-assess, like oftentimes they'll be like, well, let me just cut a few corners here.
Yeah.
And it's the same with agents. I think if you let them self-assess, they're gonna, probably score themselves reasonably well, but also maybe leave a bit in the bank to come out later on second or third review. But I think the auditability stuff is really important as well. Knowing what they do. Like, I feel like I've probably harped on about this a lot though, right? I almost feel like so much of what you would use these agents for, you almost don't need to use them for, if that makes sense. Like, I think there's so much determinism in how we work that we shouldn't try and introduce like probabilism. Like, it just doesn't feel like the right tool for many of these jobs. You want dependency, you want consistency, you want these things to run right. Like I just don't know that you need to have like a frontier model running on like a lot of the use cases that people are using for their OpenClaw, for instance. And I think that's partly where the frustration kicks in after like a week or a month of use. That, and like it just feels incredibly wasteful from a token perspective as well. It's like stuff that shouldn't be so token intensive just is invariably token intensive. I remember when I was like experimenting with Lara as well, like that system was like very much designed to be like, okay, let me just like premeditate the things that I'm going to need you to do and build those hands in such a way that they are essentially levers that you pull. And you just then have like a set of triggers that would determine when you pull those levers. That's basically it. And like maybe that's too deterministic. And I did get to that point as well where I was like, am I like kneecapping this thing? Is it like not useful now? You know,
you do a little bit. I also have some experience in this, right? Because this is where I was originally with Everest, and then with Beacon, and then with like a lot of the pipeline stuff that I was doing was all very determined of like, this is the flow for how we're going to think through this. This is how we're going to take a message in and decompose it in various ways and take actions on it. And you can do kind of amazing things, and you can do it. You can really like observe exactly how it's doing it, and you can get quite like good specific outcomes. And then what I found was I would have to put a lot of work into that, and then I could just show up and go, can you do this? And the agent just goes, it's like, I want you to take these steps, and I describe the steps about any of the coding and any of the checking, like which particular how many dots I need in my JSON reference or whatever to get the correct data out and in and all the rest of it. And then all of a sudden it just does it. And I'm like, I don't feel like I can invest too much in that. But that gives you a much more repetitive and cheaper output for the same cost as this. And so I often like feel there's a bit of a tension here where it's like sometimes I want to run an agent, but I want it to just do the one step in the pipeline and then do the next step, which is kind of where the flows come from. Is I'll just say, look, just do exactly this, and like it's even like to the point where you can be like, and then put this JSON object in this folder, and then you say to the next one, right, just go and look at the JSON object in that folder and do this. And it's kind of, I don't know, it's just like programming in English language, but I still have this nagging feeling I was going to introduce a new term that I don't think we've used on the pod before. But maybe there's these like little intelligence snacks, which is like I've got this process here, and it's going to do a bunch of stuff, and it's all just should be software. But there's like these 5 intelligence snacks that I need to build, whereas this one turns like this free text into this object, and then a bunch of stuff runs. And then this one makes a decision, and then this one turns this object back into free text and a narrative. Like, you could imagine using those sort of things all over the place. And I'm like, at the moment, I do a lot of that just by throwing an agent at it and then describing in the words like how I want that snack to run. But I do feel like there's probably, as time goes on, I think we end up back in that world where we end up just saying, okay, these like what's the call, and like each one of those is effectively like a little API call that just says do this snack. I think I'm gonna put these in Wingman. Now I've got a name for it. All right, Wingman, when you read this, run me a design flow on intelligent snacks and how we would build them into Wingman. Cool. Sorry, I'm just if you're not dispatching work to your agent live
on the pod
in the transcript, then like, are you even AI, bro? But
are you even podcasting at this point?
But I think similarly, like you want software snacks, and like there's gonna be some way where we like these just become part of like how we define the business. And it's like in the definition, the business runs itself. And I think you can do that onto agents, but I also think that a lot of it is just going to be scripts. But I'm with you. I think I think these little bits, and like paring it back so you only use those bits, it just gives you such better output in a consistent manner.
Which is what you want if you're looking at this through the lens of like an existing business. But like the bit where I'm unsure of is like, I feel like we're not really exploring the kind of the first principles here as well. It's like, what does business look like? What are the workflows look like when you've just got all of this intelligence? Like, do you need to just have a bunch of scripts? Like, because when I was playing with a lot of this
shape
stuff,
of the container changed, right?
Yeah,
That
exactly.
Like we go into an old pod.
Yes, correct. It does make a lot of sense that once you've just like solved those problems, you would start to just push the envelope and go, okay, well, what else can I do? What other business, what other service can we go and create with access to this intelligence?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's not clear to me that that would necessarily need to be something, because if it's new, you probably want to throw more intelligence at it, just like you would in a brand new business. You don't have the systems in a brand new business. You don't have the like defined workflows. It's just a couple of humans are throwing brain power at everything, often really inefficiently, but you just need to get the stuff done, right? That's what a brand new business is. And so I do wonder in that sense, like, what are the new things that you could go off and build? And this is where I was like, maybe not to dive into it too soon, but it was the discussion on the All-In pod about like, there's no like obvious value here yet because we haven't seen it in enterprise, which was Chamath's point, which I kind of disagree with. Well, it's not that he's wrong about that. That's true. It's just that I think that's not where we should expect to see the value anyway, because you've got to unearth this like massive change management problem that is just going to take time.
You've got to have a theory for like where you think the value is going to be, and then you've got to test that theory. If his value is just that, like, all right, the obvious place this is going to work is in enterprise, I would say I think your hypothesis is wrong.
Yes.
And we could probably tear that apart, even without the evidence.
Yes.
I wouldn't. But then that seems fair.
But that's the problem, right? It's like you're not necessarily wrong, you're just looking in the wrong spot. And I think that's the issue. It's like I don't go looking for my dinner in my bedroom. That's the wrong spot to have my dinner. Why not?
Hang on a minute. Listen, it's like, where the hell do you have your dinner?
I like cooking my dinner in the kitchen. That's where all the tools are.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Everybody else eats and cooks in the bedroom.
Oh,
right?
God, yeah.
That's why it's called the bedroom.
Yes.
Because it's the bed of the pan.
This
This
is how it works. Obviously, I'm living a lie. I'm doing it all wrong.
Stop pretending you don't cook in the bedroom. Just to appear cool to the listener.
Got a little gas stove in the bedroom. But yeah, I think that's the wrong proxy for this stuff. It's just you're looking in the wrong place. So anyway, yeah, it kind of makes me wonder, like, if you start to get down to first principles on this stuff, what are the new business containers that might start to emerge?
On that point, like, I can't help but feel like if the point of this thing is that it replaces people in a business, like, do you really think the best place to start is with a business that has 100,000 people?
Yeah, exactly.
Because the whole thing is organised around the fact that there's 100,000 people.
Yeah, correct.
All that you think is going to be the person where it's just one person, and they go, there's so much stuff I can't do. I wish I could have like an extra half of me, and then I can have 400 of them. Oh, fantastic! Like, I'll start filling them up with jobs, and they just offload the stuff that they can never do. Like, the structure of an enterprise makes no. I can see it if you take like one glance at it, and it's like a one-shot prompt, right? He's one-shot prompted himself and said, "Where's the biggest opportunity in AI?" And it goes, "Well, it's removing people, so therefore big companies."
Yeah. And
then he didn't go follow up. Can you reflect on that and see if there's what are the issues that would come trying to implement there?
Yeah.
And it would go, oh yeah, it'd be a pain in the arse. Like, you legally can't get rid of half the people anyway. Like, it's going to take you years to shed them. It's going to be like incredibly expensive to fire everyone. So there's a cost associated with that. A lot of the intelligence inside that business is probably inside everybody's head. So you can't just get rid of people. You need to slowly migrate it out. You're going to have a big change management problem. And like, it's like he never did that.
Yeah.
A follow up, which I think would have been fairly quick to do.
Fairly obvious, I think.
And then when you do that, you go, well, maybe it's not that. And then you go, oh, is it like one person? And maybe you go for the same thing where you go, all right, yeah, this is like very easy to change. They've got full control over everything. It's all just net upside for that company. But then that's not the big opportunity because it's only one person. So even if you double the one person, you still only got like two people's worth size business.
Yeah.
So there's some curve, and like different people attack it in different places, but it's really not obvious. It matters at the enterprise.
The issue I think with Chamath's framing is it's like the number has to be big enough.
Yeah,
it always has to be big enough, right?
It's
below his line.
Right? It's below his line.
It's below his line. And
just like human rights.
It's like if you look at
else.
Yeah, if you look at a small business in isolation, that number's meaningless to someone like Chamath. But if you look at the value accrued in small business in the aggregate, I think that number is significant. Yeah. And that's why I think. But you're looking to enterprise to give you the value, and it's like, well, okay, but
it's because he's a centralized actor that likes capturing stuff, and he's evil.
Sure.
Like it's just,
all of this is correct.
This is the problem of being a baddie, right?
Yeah.
If you're an evil baddie, then you have to look at this and go, oh yeah, but how can I conquer the world? And that's your framing on the world.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, despite the fact that it often gets sold like that as AI, I don't think that's what it is. Like, I think if you just give tools of massive output to people with agency, you don't conquer the world as big baddie. You let everybody fight back. So I think it's good. But yeah, I think that's his issue. It's the curse of being the bad guy. Is that he can only look at it to figure out how he can control everybody.
But also, like, I don't know that they're necessarily getting that tool in enterprise. You know, like it's so hard to get.
No, they get Copilot.
They get Copilot, right? Like these are
they
people
get the shit stuff
that are still doing like Copilot workshops. They're paying money for Copilot workshops.
I just can't bring myself to do. I can't bring myself to use Copilot enough to learn to.
But it's not even about like wanting to help people to do this stuff. It's like you should just actively avoid doing this stuff. Like this is not something we should be helping you do. It's like if that's. And it is hard, right? Like it's hard enough to get like 10 people to agree on something. It's really hard when you've got like 100,000 people in an organization to just go, yeah, we need to steer this ship in a different direction now. We need to use a bunch of different tools that maybe we don't want to use because a bunch of us all of a sudden will get found out. That's, I think, the bit that makes it really difficult. So it's like you can't expect the value to start accruing in enterprise when they're not even using the tools in the first place. But yeah, it's completely the wrong.
I think it's old thinking. Like it's the correct thinking for SaaS implementation.
That's right. Yeah.
Like, but I think that's all dead.
But I do think we'll get this massive bifurcation. You'll just get a bunch of small businesses that will like really take advantage of this.
Yep.
I mean, the weird thing is you've already kind of seen it with like we mentioned last week the GLP-1 startup. I forgot the name of it.
I don't think I ever looked up the name.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But like one of those like stories that would go away.
Two brothers with OpenClaw basically generating, was it like $500 million in revenue or something in a couple of years? Like that's pretty impressive. Like not big on the actual product, but that's still an impressive feat with two guys. So yeah, I think we'll end up seeing more like that. So I don't know. It's hard to say there's no value here when you see examples of this emerging in the world.
I mean, even on a personal level, I would be like, all right, it's like I've got a personal development team. Like I didn't have that previously. How is that not valuable? Now, it's the capital good, right? It's not the end goal. So we have this. It's like we've invented electricity, and it's like it's not even useful. It just shocks everybody. Like every now and again, what the fuck is this? It's like but we need to like put it to something. Like we need to turn it into something else. And so I just don't think we've had that. But the value capture here is in the creation of the businesses that run on this. It's not in the thing. I think the thing is going to be like electricity. It's going to become absolute commodity. Everybody's going to have access to it in varying degrees and amounts. But it's going to be what you do with it. And it's what you do with it is you create the business that runs on this. Like this is, I feel like I can't say it enough. I do feel like it's starting to catch on now. I think the other day on Twitter I even saw somebody use the line service as a software. As opposed to software as a service.
I've seen it a few times. Oh,
fuck you. Like that's mine. I came up with that. Then I was like, it probably is just it's like a saying of the moment. Like you can see how this would just occur all over the place.
Yeah.
Everyone was like, "Oh, there you go, clever."
Yeah.
But it's.
Was that one of? I feel like that came up with Paul back in the day.
No.
Services software. I feel like that was something that
No, it was on the pod. We did it.
we
It's a couple of
definitely
months ago. I know
we've
it was
definitely
Paul.
been tip of the spear.
I mean,
for
look,
it,
shout out to Paul
To Paul.
Etoy, who's
Yeah.
a friend of the pod. We need to get him on.
We do.
We've talked about it, but it would be great to. He's
because he's been
such a good
consistently
deep thinker about this, and
consistently
he's been,
right ahead of the curve on a lot of this stuff. Yeah.
like years ahead.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, I think it's the only trouble with being years ahead of this stuff is then trying to figure out what to do with that, because the market's not there when you're too far. But yeah, he's very good on this.
It's also, you need the benefit of hindsight to realize that someone is that far ahead sometimes. It's like, oh, I'm listening to that person again, and with hindsight, with more context, with more experience, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, even if I don't know if he actually said those words. Like, that's where I'm claiming. But even if not, the whole concept.
Conceptually, yeah.
Conceptually, it would have come from talking to Paul.
Yeah.
And hearing his views on this stuff. And it's that, it's service industries is where this gets applied. Massively, massively specific software is how this gets applied. I mean, he was really clear on that, well over a year ago, to the point where I was like, I don't quite see it, but it makes sense. Whereas now, you can intuit it and just go, if I need some software for tonight, I would just have it made in the background. It's fine. Yeah.
I still think that is really, we're probably still a year ahead of where the rest of the market is on this stuff, which is interesting. So, because I mean, ultimately, there's going to be so many opportunities. For
he's just so damn clever.
These estimates. Well, no. I'm just saying, I think it will just take time.
I'm just joking.
Yeah, it will just take time for these ideas to start to catch on, because people don't necessarily have, we've got this space every week to just come and explore and share ideas and talk about this stuff out in the open. And most people are still stuck in the weeds in their own business. It's very hard to get that space to start thinking about this stuff clearly. But to many people's credit, they are starting to do this. It does feel like this is something that is gaining momentum. I feel like that's just happening in conversations I've been having with more people. 6 months ago, it was a lot more difficult. Most of the conversation was, it's just ChatGPT. Whereas now it feels like, there's something more there. We're not quite sure what it is, but we are sure that we should be looking. And I feel like that is a big improvement on where we were. Certainly 6 months ago, but maybe even less, maybe even 3 months ago, to be fair.
Yeah.
So that's positive. What that yields, I don't know, because if the net result of that exploration is we just need to use Copilot, then I feel like you're missing a trick. I can't stress that enough to people. It's like there's more to this. Don't stop at Copilot.
Yeah, I think the thing is that if you get a 10% bump on your own efficiency sort of thing with Copilot, you look at that and go, sweet,
cool,
I get it now. I'm doing stuff quicker than I did.
This is why I think there'll be bifurcation though.
Yeah.
Because there will just be businesses emerging on the side where they'll just get way more done with a fraction of the headcount, and they'll start to, maybe not quickly, but they'll start to just eat up that market share.
Yeah, I mean, this is why I like the challenger business model so much.
Distribution is still the really hard part though. It just is going to be harder and harder to get distribution, and I'm not necessarily convinced that the way you've done it in the past 15, 20 years is going to be really workable. It's hard to get, if your strategy is to just post content, build audience, there's that personal brand building, that it just takes ages, and you're probably not even guaranteed to be able to build that kind of audience these days, unless you're doing something super novel.
I almost think that there's you maybe just don't even need to talk about the thing you're doing. So I think I talked to you about this guy before. There's an Australian that does your YouTube channel on Warhammer 40,000 lore.
Okay.
Now this is niche.
Yes.
And a bit geeky, right? But
it's a bit surprisingly big audience though.
Huge audience.
It's a massive audience for this.
He does 10-minute slots.
Yeah.
He'll just talk to camera about something. There's artwork in the background. He's a little bit is coarse, rude, and offensive.
Yeah.
You know, like, but it's very different to everybody else that does it, and therefore he got a good audience from that. But like recently, he started a supplement company.
Oh, okay, that's odd.
Because I mean, he's a young guy. He's actually I think his mum owns Boost Juice or something like this. So he's like a child of entrepreneurs. Like he's been brought up with like a lot of money around him. He knows that he can do stuff. But he's got like, so I think his original business was like a 3D printing business. So he started printing the models to sell to people, and that kind of made sense. Then I think he also had a Discord where he sold like hentai memes, basically, of like so I haven't seen any of that stuff. Yeah, that's the big stuff.
That's a different channel.
But like, you know, I was trying to catch up on what was going on because like Mikey was getting into this stuff, and I was like, yeah, okay, let's. But I found it quite interesting the way he monetized the thing, which he's got like a big YouTube following in this, and then he sells them like supplements.
Has that been effective? Or
It's been very effective.
Wow, okay.
It's gone from like 0 to like a highly effective, like, well-subscribed supplement company in no time. He also like a bunch of his sponsors would be things like he's got, what's the man shaving one? It's called something like there's a company that do like shavers for men to like trim your pubes in the shower or something like that. Manscaped.
Fair enough. Yes. Oh, yes. There we go. That's the term.
You know, it's like they won't be sponsoring us. Apparently, you know, all right, just do the pubes. Yeah.
I mean,
ladies love it.
That was a great ad read for anyone who wants to chuck a sponsorship in there. That's the kind of ad read you can expect on the good stuff.
Oh, I've been watching like the Tim Dillon show a lot recently. His ad reads are fantastic. So you would have like that, and again, like it's not the usual audience that you would expect.
Yeah.
And the guy, you know, he does like Brazilian jiu-jitsu. He looks after himself, so it's a different sort of, I don't know, archetype of what you'd expect in that area. But I thought it was interesting that he's able to like capitalize on this with like a supplement company, and then like men's grooming products, and like he would get sponsorships from. Yeah, it's just something. I think it was a company called Geography or something like that do like lotions and potions for men. And you're like, huh. I mean, every now and again, it makes me wonder, like, maybe we shouldn't even fucking talk about AI. Just talk about like, something that's just got a big audience.
Yeah. And
then you sell them AI. It's like, it's kind of funny. But I could see distribution becoming more like that, is that people want entertainment.
Do you know what? I actually think it's like kind of the opposite. Like, we talk about AI, but it's not the thing. You know, even for us, it's like there's a bunch of other companies that we're kind of lining up to go and look at as challenges. That's us using the tools, but the product has got nothing to do with AI.
That's true.
So, you know, in some respects, it's like AI for us is the kind of the Warhammer niche, and it is still a bit of a niche.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like there are these other areas that we're looking at. And that's where I think the bifurcation comes from as well, because I just think there are going to be these domains where, like, you know, people who have the skills won't necessarily look at those domains because they feel probably quite foreign to them. And the people who are in those domains running those companies are not going to have the skill to go and apply the AI in like a really meaningful way, or they run existing businesses and they've got the big change management problem they've got to go and work through. So I think that's just a massive opportunity space.
Yeah.
And there are so many different, like, you're almost spoiled for choice right now. It's part of the problem, I think. It's like, where do you actually go and aim? So, but that's interesting, yeah, because like it is a little bit counterintuitive, right? You're like, oh, I've got this niche audience over here, even if it's large. Like, let me just go and sell them a supplement. I mean,
I would guess the thing is that if you've got like
looking at
a million subscribers, then 1,000 of them might want supplements.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
It's probably much bigger.
Like you kind of, you wonder, like, there's something there where it's really more about audience building than it is necessarily bothering to sell your software. You then just add that on to the entertainment aspect of it.
But I do think the distribution bit's going to be like the big challenge. I also think like really good marketers that also like develop the AI skills are going to be like big beneficiaries. You know, like we talk about the managerial class, like the product manager role. I think good quality marketers that develop these skills are going to be like really well positioned. I think that's another space to watch.
I mean, I guess you can like hire in some of this as well, where maybe that becomes the business for a lot of people, because it just reminded me of a second example that I saw last night, which is so another YouTube person unrelated to this would be Bryce from Living Big in a Tiny Home. I don't know if you've seen his channel. It's quite good. He just like goes around the world. Like, he's from New Zealand, I think, but he'll do like a lot of it is New Zealand and Australia. But he'll go and like look at people's tiny homes. Everybody makes a salad while he's there. Like it's, you know, he says nice things. About 20 minutes long.
Yeah. Okay.
We did a short yesterday with like this weird dome thing in the background. I was like, oh, this looks interesting. I hit the button, and he basically shilled me an investment in this geodesic dome company. Excellent. And I was like, what?
It's what every portfolio needs.
God damn it, Bryce, I am interested in this, but I don't want to hear this crap. Like, I just wanted to see what the dome was. I want one of those. They look fun. Yeah. That looks like a nice house. Can I buy one? Don't chill me on getting in on the ground floor.
Oh, God.
But it was one of those moments where you're like, oh, this guy's just been given part of this company, and he's going to be like an outreach and ambassador for it on his channel because it fits. It fits his niche.
I feel like that was always a thing, right?
Yeah.
That the evangelist, right, would come in and they'd already have the big audience, so they'd come in and shill the product.
Yeah.
It's like building the audience, though. If you're starting from scratch today, that's the part that's going to be. It might be a challenge. Again, though, if you're doing, you kind of have to be doing something quite novel, I think, and then you just have to be communicating every aspect of it, and it's hard. Because I feel like we do stuff that's quite novel, but communicating every aspect of it is like the afterthought.
Yeah.
But then Gen Zs are really good at this stuff. Like they're very like natively on their phones. They're very good at recording stuff. And a lot of the algorithms now are really like focused on like me recording myself, putting it out there, rather than, you know,
I mean,
more text-based.
We could do some. If people want to see it, I could like just stop what I'm doing and film my screen.
It's
tell
true.
people what I'm up to every now and again.
That's true. But yeah, that's the distribution like aspect for the individual, but then also same for the company. If you have a bunch of these companies proliferating, like then just again which we've talked about a bunch, but it comes back to your personal relationships and, you know, going and spending more time out in the open, talking to people, having coffees, having drinks. Like that's always been a thing.
That is also very much a perf thing, definitely. I suspect it's the same.
I think it's
everywhere, but
yeah, which is the benefit.
It does feel like it's like on steroids here.
It is, yeah. It definitely is.
Like you almost can't sell anything unless you went to school with somebody.
Yeah.
Played in the hockey team.
Yes, it helps.
That sort of stuff.
It helps. Yeah, it's the networks are really like the degrees of separation here are much tighter. Yeah. So I think that is one of those things that has been hard to shake. Whereas certainly in other places, you know, you could just do the cold outreach and it works. And people are like, oh yeah, this sounds interesting. Sell me, you know. But that seems like less of a thing, for sure.
I always find it a little bit funny, like coming in as an immigrant, as it were, because you have, you know, it would be a big thing if you went to Scotch College or something, and you'd be like, you know, like in anywhere else in the world, like nobody knows what this thing is. This is not like.
It's true.
This could just be Topton Hall School.
I mean,
that's where I went. It sounds like it could be in a hall, in a manor hall. It's not.
Yeah.
It was not. It was a very concrete 60s sort of state school. But yeah, it's just, I don't know.
It's definitely a thing here. I mean, you can go to the east coast of Australia and they haven't heard of these schools.
Yeah, exactly.
To be fair.
Like elsewhere in Australia, they don't even know what it is. Never mind. They just think that we're like maybe one up from Tasmania.
But
we're like rich Tasmania.
It does weirdly make a difference here.
Yeah,
and that is the thing. It's like it's very noticeable how much of an effect it can have, even decades later. You know, it is crazy. I mean, those are like the OG network effects, right? But yeah, Perth is quite a unique place in that regard. But yeah, so where do we land on this? There's bifurcation, there's distribution, those are still challenges. The value isn't going to necessarily be evident in enterprise. It's maybe the wrong spot to be looking for this value to accrue. I mean, yeah,
we talked about two very distinct things there, haven't we? Right?
Yeah.
We started off with talking about how like the observability of like what's happening in the business and like your requirement to work at all the levels in the business, which, as we say, is very much like what you would have to do if you run a business. So surprise, surprise, that doesn't go away. You can't just dictate stuff and delegate stuff off to these people until you know exactly what they're doing and you have trust in it. And building that trust is done by doing the thing, observing the outputs, checking how it was done, doing it again, seeing it get better, seeing it repeatable, and you go, okay, well now I'll leave you to do it because I know it's sort of hard-coded in, as it were. Which is kind of weird because you have to train the agents to do the job, which again, you know, if you looked on Twitter, that's not what you do. You just say, oh my god, like my days. Do people still say oh my days?
Yeah,
they probably don't. They probably don't, because I was quite young when people started saying that.
I don't think people said that here, though. That was definitely that was definitely a UK thing.
Yeah.
It was something I heard a lot when I was in the UK.
Yeah, okay.
I don't hear it here.
All right, so somebody write in, comments please on YouTube. Do people still say, oh my days?
I'm sure they do.
Like, I just one-shot this prompt and now I don't have to do this. Like, all myself, I've got 100,000 sales or whatever, and you're like, I don't know if I believe that.
This is the problem with Twitter, though.
Yeah.
Like if it were working for you, would you not be doing it? Instead of just like saying, like, you should do this thing, like telling everyone else.
You'd probably shut up and keep quiet about it, right?
Yeah,
like,
you just go about doing it.
I mean, I sometimes have this problem when we talk about this stuff on here, and I'm like, should I like mention this stuff? This is really useful, like, and I can't necessarily just sell it to everybody anyway. So why am I telling everybody about this? And then I remember that like saying stuff on the good stuff is like, if you want to hide something, it's better than encryption. Like, you know, this is like, even the quantum computers aren't gonna come looking for this. It's like, where do you pull your private keys? Oh, I just announced them on episodes of the good stuff. After about 45 minutes, you're pretty safe. It's just me listening back. That's how I remember it.
That's where all the views are coming from.
Oh, I have people storing their Bitcoin keys like live in it. It's like safer. The quantum computer hasn't even looked there yet.
Safer than a card in my house, that's for sure.
Oh dear,
that's too good.
And then the other thing that we talked about, of course, was Chamath and him being wrong again because he's a bad guy. Like,
yeah, that's right.
I mean, I do wonder. I try and tease it out a little bit that maybe I'm just biased because I like working for the good guys, and I should think more about the poor bad guys like Chamath. You know,
cops are beating on this podcast.
You know, that's my issue. That's just my issue, right? Yeah. I just like the good guys and not the bad guys. Yeah. Whereas, you know, obviously he likes the bad guys and not the good guys, so it's different. But we all have our things.
Yeah, I mean, he's also trying to run a business that is presumably working exclusively with enterprise because that's where he sees the value. And like, every time I listen to this stuff, as I say, sometimes it's a little bit of a hate listen. Like, it is entertaining, to their credit, but I just get this reinforced view that they're not paying attention. Well, actually, I don't want to say they're not paying attention to this stuff because they obviously are paying a lot of attention to this stuff, but I don't get the sense they're looking in the right places.
Yeah, I mean, look, if I was a billionaire, I would not be paying attention to this.
Yeah.
I would be, I don't know, somewhere else. Well, I might be here for a bit.
I think we'd probably still be playing around with this stuff a lot. It'd be for different reasons, I'm sure.
I don't think you can. I think the best thing you end up doing, well, maybe I would.
Yeah.
But I wonder if you would just end up like having other people that you would...
Probably.
I would be tinkering.
Probably. You would be tinkering for sure, though.
Yeah.
But yeah, the animus is completely different, like when you're tinkering versus when you're like, oh, I need to generate value from this thing. Like, yeah. And we've said that here. It's like oftentimes we will get into like tinkering mode and we're like, we need to do this in order to like figure out like where the value comes from.
If we like steelman Chamath, then maybe he is tinkering. It's just that he tinkers with like a business now.
Yeah.
Because of his like background where he's at, he's just thinking like, oh, I'll tinker with this by starting a 100-man business, or I don't know how many people he would have inspired for that 80-20 thing. But like that's his tinkering, is he tinkers through that business, but that business was set up with this goal of enterprise stuff.
Yeah.
So maybe he's just like tinkering in the wrong space, which we all do.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like if you set up a company on that basis, you need to go to where you think the money exists in order to fund that kind of a business, which is in enterprise. So you've got long sales cycles, but you also need to commit a bunch of people that aren't traditional IT to come and give you a bunch of money.
Yeah. So whereas if you then marry that, if it's like that's Chamath tinkering, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll take someone like Peter Steinberger and his tinkering. When he created OpenClaw, was very much just like, I just wanted to like play.
Yeah.
And this I feel like way more sort of aligned
yeah.
with that, because that's what I've done. Like, is that I tried to play with the thing. I tried to figure out where it was useful for me, and started doing stuff based on that, and then figuring out where this could actually be useful for X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Down the thing. Whereas I think it feels like more like that. Like Chamath tinkering was like, I have predicted the future, and this is where it's going to impact. And then I think he's just wrong. But it's going to take him like, you almost need like a year or two to figure out that you're wrong, because it's a longer term bet. Whereas I think just playing with like, well, what exactly can it do now?
Yeah.
And then a week later, you're like, ooh, could do more. It's like when we had Justin on the show, right? And it's
Yeah.
like all the projects that failed 6 months ago, I'm making headway on now. It's like, yeah, sweet.
Which is weirdly why I think like Jason is closer to this than Chamath, because he's actually using it, and you can tell he's actually using it.
Jason, friend of the pod.
Well, it depends how many episodes he's listened to. If he's just listened to this one, then yes, friend of the pod. But if he's listened to previous ones, then
what did you say about him?
Debatable. We'll have to go back and re-listen. Add to the listen count.
No, but it's true. To give him his credit, like he's using the things, and he's got a very different perspective to almost everybody else there. It's like Sax's, when you listen to his perspective on it, it seemed to be very much like, it was almost like he was thinking about it in that role of, I'm the AI czar for the government. And he had these like weird perspectives that seemed a little bit removed from reality. Like, okay, you're not using this, you're hearing talking points on this from various other people. I think Chamath's closer than that, in that he's got people using the tools for him and he's hearing those people talk about it. And I think Jason is like even closer, where he's actually just running them. No, he's wrong in other ways, of course.
Yeah, I mean, we're giving him his flowers on this particular thing only, in isolation.
I mean, the other guy that has come up a few times on the pod would be, and he does go on that podcast as well, would be Aaron Levy.
Yes.
Who, friend of the pod. He probably would be, because we've been nice to him.
Yeah.
Like he's.
I think he's been
consistently
aligned with a lot of what we say.
Pretty good.
Yeah, I think so too.
The only thing that I think he's going wrong, in general, is that he tends to frame it all again as like an enterprise opportunity and sale, and I think that there's just a certain amount of bias there where, he's on the bad side, and he has to talk about how it'll, consolidate work into enterprises, and you're like,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
I mean, it is definitional though. Like, at what point does the container become the enterprise? Is it X number of people, or is it X number of? Is it revenue, or what is it that makes
it?
What,
like 10,000 people?
I would think so.
Like, well, I mean, small enterprise would be. Well, I mean, it's even SMEs, right? It's small, medium enterprise.
Yeah.
I guess
medium is
it's high
broad.
enterprise. I guess is what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's anything from like, let's say 5,000 upwards, 2 to 5.
Okay.
1,000 people, you're big.
It's sizable, yeah.
You're reasonably big.
I was thinking probably like 5 to 10 plus.
Yeah, that's what I would think of as enterprise, and then smaller companies would be.
Because again, like, does the definition just change? Like, can you still manage like, many multiple billions in revenue with, 100 people, probably. So is that still a medium-sized company at that point, or is it an enterprise based on its like earnings and valuation? Like, I don't know. Maybe that.
It's like a big tech company that I think would define a small company as anything below 500 billion or $500 million in revenue or something.
Jesus.
Maybe not 500 billion.
Yeah, 500 million sounds small.
500 million.
Yeah.
But like to the point where you're like, wow, they still have money.
Yes.
Like they're turning over this much. But yeah, it's I don't know. Yeah, Aaron, like, I think is being good.
Yeah, it's
like,
some good takes.
But again, what you can see is that the organization, like, I don't know what they're going to do. 'Cause, like, this being an organization that does cloud storage for people doesn't seem like it's going to be that defensible moving into the future. Because I think hosting your own stuff again becomes highly competitive. Like, people always used to do this. Like,
Yeah.
20 years ago, you just had a guy who put a server rack in your office.
Yeah.
And that's where the stuff was.
Yes.
Like nobody had cloud stuff. And the thing is, now you could do that, but without the guy. And a robot manages it for you, and you just say, configure this, and it goes, yep, and it's all free, and you just have it straight away. And you go, oh, could it do this? And you don't have to go and ask somebody. You don't have to pay licenses. You don't have to do anything like that. It just works. And there's open source versions of all this stuff to the point where there's kind of no reason for a lot of it to persist at that level, that sort of gross margin. But, so I think his company's doomed. But he is experimenting, God bless. And you can see it in what he posts. And you can see that he's also involved reasonably closely with what's going on.
You can tell when someone's actively using this stuff.
But he just has that like enterprise frame, which I think is fair. And I think we probably have
normal.
a similar bias, right?
Yeah, we do. Of course we do.
You know, our bias is that we like to work for the goodies. And for the people, like, not the baddies. And that
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think we've
so I'm just
remotely
enjoying
hidden
the
this.
analogy. But
I mean, we've not even attempted to hide this bias even on this.
It's
On
like,
this
I
pod.
want the small businesses to succeed with
exactly.
this. So maybe that's why I think they will. I actually think there is some logic to this, and I do try and test it. But I think it makes sense that that's who's going to benefit from it because of their ability to take advantage of it quicker. And I think speed will matter.
Yeah, but I also think if you're looking for value, you need to look for value in the aggregate. You can't just go, here's one company that I'm going to point to say, yes, this is a beneficiary of the tooling. Because I just don't think that's the right framing at all.
It's like saying, like, this internet, there's nothing to it because the New York Times hasn't taken advantage of it yet. No, the New York Times got destroyed.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's podcasting is nothing because, like, I don't know, this radio station,
Yeah.
like, Howard Stern's not embraced it. He's into digital radio. All right, well, he's just not relevant anymore. Like, he's an unrelevant person. Like, these TV shows are like, oh no, YouTube is not relevant. No, they just got destroyed by YouTube, and now they're pretending to be YouTube. Like, it's not the big thing. Like, it's weird that we always people will make these arguments over and over again. He's like, oh no, but the big players would have adopted it and got all the value from it. It's like, no, like, they never do. They just seem so unassailable because they're so big and they're so rich. But
right up until the moment they're not.
yeah, exactly. Like, and it's okay.
Yeah.
Like, if Google, you know, if Google fails, it's fine. We'll just have to spy on ourselves. You know, if Facebook fails, you'll have to drive your own kids to insanity and suicide. You know, like, instead of having it outsourced to some like robot in Silicon Valley.
Starting to realize what we might not get the reach that we want on YouTube.
Yeah, Google. There you go.
Yeah. Yes, that is
But
maybe part of the problem. But yeah,
like, well,
I think it's true.
you know, that's the problem with working for the goodies. You don't always have the reach, but you do get to go to bed at night.
As I said as well, like, you've also got this situation where if you are like actively making the most of this, like there is something that is value generating for your business. Like, are you just going to go and share that with everybody and just be like, hey guys, like, I've got a money printer in my business. You guys should do the same thing as me. Like, that never happens. Like, you only get that from talking heads on Twitter.
Yeah, it's only people that aren't actually doing any of the stuff in general.
Because their product is their audience.
Yes.
They're trying to build their audience. Like, that's the problem. Like, you just can't get that advice from those people.
That's how you know you can trust us, because we don't have an audience.
We don't have an audience. Yeah.
we clearly haven't tried to build it.
Yeah. This is it. But I think that's part of the problem. Like, yeah, if you go and you set up a small business somewhere and it's just you're absolutely making bank, you're not gonna go and tell everyone that, especially your competitors. Like, that's mad.
Yeah. I mean, my current assumption is that nobody is
Yeah.
yet, but there's a clear enough bead on how to do it.
Yeah.
And so I think that's where, you know, there's people that will sell the idea before it's tried. Right?
I reckon there are people
So
that
that's why it's coming out at the moment. People have realised that, oh, there's something here that should work. I'll say it's worked.
Yes.
Because that's just like a
theory.
little lie, because it kind of makes sense that it would work. And I'll just say that because that's the current thing.
Yeah.
I think the actual like playing out of that is going to take longer, but I think it's direction correct.
Yes. But I do think people are benefiting just from like the productivity boost, like being able to do a little bit more versus the people who are not doing this. Which that already exists.
Well,
like how you quantify it,
it's
I don't know.
the permissionless bit, right?
Yeah.
Anybody with nobody else's permission could just go, no, give it a try, $20. And then you go, no, I'll give it a try for $200.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, all right, this is good. Like I could throw 10 grand at this and I would still be happy if I got like these extra things out of it. And it's like, yeah, that's
definitely.
what you need to do. But,
Yes.
But you do, I think in some ways, like you do need that. That almost has to be a bit of a personal journey up front where you've gone like, you know what, I'll spend $20 on this. I'll spend $500 on this. I'll spend whatever. And then you spend the money, you do a thing and you go, shit, I kind of see it.
Yeah.
Like these are things I didn't think I could do. You tell me I can basically buy skills.
Yeah.
And people.
This is why.
And outputs. It's like, huh.
This was like this is one of the benefits of the Rise of the Generalist episode we did, right? It's like generalists are just more prepared to go and experiment and tinker because they're not like wedded to like one particular discipline and one particular operating principle inside of that discipline. It's like I have skills across many different areas. I'm going to go and build a new one because I'm curious and I'm interested. And these were always like, sticks to beat generalists with. It's like, oh, you're not specializing in the one area, therefore you're not particularly good in any area.
Yeah.
And actually, that curiosity is going to be the thing that makes them really valuable.
Yeah. I mean, to go back, because we probably want to draw some to a close here, but like that comment about, well, are the product managers all dead? And I think, again, if we give the credit out to Paul, his friend of the pod, was like he always said, like, no, the technical product manager is like the last guy standing. It's the person that understands like enough about everything that's going on and then can turn their attention across all of these different domains, but is also has to be fairly technical because you need to be currently reasonably technical to start picking up these skills, or you need to be willing to learn and build that capacity. And the good thing is you can build that capacity using the same tools that you then learn to accelerate everything. But I could see that as being, I think that was just a great call, and it remains as true today as it was back then. So
on the money again.
All right.
Very good.
And on that note, that's the good stuff.